The desert sun burned bright over the red sands of Kalora 7, a planet known for its rare crystals and dangerous wildlife. The mining colony sprawled across the jagged canyon like a patchwork of metal and stone, its walls built to resist the constant sandstorms that swept across the planet. Most of the miners had learned to avoid the wilderness, for rumors of enormous creatures roamed among the rocky cliffs. Captain Elias Varn stepped off the landing craft, his boots crunching against the hot sand. He adjusted the strap of his backpack, heavy with sensors and exploration tools. Elias was not just a miner or a traveler, he was an explorer, sent by Earth's Council to study Kalora 7 unique energy crystals. They were rare, shimmering stones that could power cities for decades, but the planet's dangers made the mission almost impossible. The first few hours in the colony were chaotic. Miners shouted orders over the roar of machinery, and robotic drills clanged against stone walls. Elias observed quietly, taking note of the workers' routines. It was clear that survival here required not just skill, but respect for the planet itself. By midday, the sun reached its peak. Elias decided to venture farther into the canyon's rocky terrain, where sensors indicated the largest concentration of crystals. He moved cautiously, scanning for any signs of wildlife. Kalora 7 was known for its massive predators, creatures adapted to the harsh desert climate. Some miners claimed to have seen them flying high above the cliffs, their wings casting enormous shadows on the canyon floor. As Elias approached a narrow canyon, the ground beneath him trembled slightly. A low, rumbling sound echoed through the rocks. He froze, instinctively ducking behind a boulder. Then he saw it. A giant figure moved gracefully among the rocks. It was humanoid but enormous, taller than any human by far. Scales shimmered across its skin like molten metal in the sun, reflecting shades of red, gold, and silver. Its eyes were deep and intelligent, glowing faintly in the light. From its back sprouted massive wings, folded neatly but capable of great power. Elia's heart raced. He had expected dangerous wildlife, maybe even something aggressive, but nothing prepared him for this. This was no ordinary creature. It was a dragon woman, legendary among the few colonists who dared speak of her. The stories told of a guardian who protected Kalora 7 crystals, appearing only when the planet or its people were in danger. The dragon woman turned her head slowly toward him. Elias could feel her gaze, sharp and curious, yet cautious. She did not roar or attack. Instead, she observed. He noticed scars along her arms and wings, signs of past battles. Perhaps this explained why she avoided humans. Maybe she had seen the worst of them. Elias took a deep breath and stepped forward. "I'm not here to hurt anyone," he said in a calm voice. "I only want to study the crystals." The dragon woman tilted her head. She did not speak, but a low rumble came from her throat, almost like a question. Elias slowly extended his hand, hoping to show he meant no harm. The air between them was tense, filled with anticipation. Suddenly, a violent sandstorm swept through the canyon, forcing Elias to shield his face. The wind howled, carrying sand that cut like tiny knives. The dragon woman spread her wings and shielded him with her massive body, her presence a powerful force against the storm. Elias could not move, but he felt a strange warmth and protection in her action. When the storm subsided, Elias blinked against the bright sunlight. The dragon woman remained, her wings folded again, her eyes still studying him. For a moment they simply watched each other, two beings from completely different worlds. I've been alone here for 16 months, she said finally, her voice deep and musical, resonating in the canyon. "Since I last had a partner." Elias froze. Her words were not a threat but a revelation, almost a confession. He realized she was not just a guardian or a monster. She was a sentient being, capable of feeling loss and longing. "I'm Elias," he replied softly. I would like to help if you let me." For the next few days, Elias observed the dragon woman from a distance. He noticed how she moved through the rocks, hunting small creatures for food and protecting crystal formations from damage. She was powerful, faster, and stronger than any human, yet she showed intelligence and care. Elias began to understand why the miners respected her in whispers and rumors. They had seen only a glimpse of her abilities, never the full being she was. One afternoon, a group of miners ventured too far into the canyon, ignoring warnings. They disturbed a nest of desert wyverns, small but dangerous creatures with venomous tails. The wyverns attacked, swarming the miners. Elias ran toward the chaos, unsure if he could intervene. Before he could reach them, the dragon woman appeared. With a roar that shook the canyon walls, she unleashed a powerful gust of wind with her wings, scattering the wyverns. Her claws and strength were unmatched, and within moments the threat was gone. Elias helped the miners to their feet. Some were terrified, others awed. The dragon woman turned her gaze to Elias. For the first time there was a hint of acknowledgement, a silent recognition of his bravery. She did not speak but did not retreat either. Elias felt that this small gesture was a beginning. That night, Elias returned to the canyon alone. He had questions, but more importantly, he had a plan. He needed to learn her story, understand why she had been alone for 16 months. He approached slowly, speaking softly. "You don't have to trust me immediately," he said. "I know you've been hurt, but I want to be your partner in whatever way you'll allow." The dragon woman regarded him silently. Then she stepped closer than she had ever allowed a human before. The distance between them closed by mere meters, yet it felt monumental. Elias could see the sadness in her eyes, the caution and the strength all at once. "You are different from the others," she finally said. "Most humans, they only take. They destroy without thought. You are not like them." "I've seen humans make mistakes," Elias said honestly. "But we also learn, we care. That is what I want to show you." For a moment the desert around them was silent except for the wind and distant howls of creatures. The dragon woman turned and gestured for Elias to follow her. With her enormous wings, she lifted off the ground, gliding across the canyon. Elias ran below, watching in awe as she moved with grace and power. She led him to a hidden cave, a place carved naturally into the canyon wall. Inside, crystals glimmered faintly in the shadows, casting light like stars in a dark sky. This was her home, her sanctuary, and Elias understood why she had stayed hidden. "I've protected this place for years," she said. "Many have tried to claim it, many have failed. I have lost a partner before. I cannot risk that again." Elias nodded. "I don't want to take your place. I want to understand. I want to help if I can." The dragon woman studied him for a long moment, then slowly nodded. Perhaps you can." Over the next hours, they spoke more. Elias learned that the dragon woman had once been part of a team of guardians who protected Kalora 7 rare crystals. Her partner had been a human who understood her world, and together they kept the balance of the planet safe. But a sudden attack by a rival mining corporation 16 months ago had destroyed her companion's life, leaving her alone. Since then she had stayed hidden, avoiding contact with humans. Elias listened intently, realizing that her pain was not weakness. It was strength shaped by loss. He understood that trust would not come easily, but he was willing to earn it. As the sun set outside the cave, painting the sky in reds and oranges, Elias looked at the dragon woman. "You don't have to face everything alone," he said. "I can be your partner, not just in protecting the crystals, but in surviving here." She looked at him, her eyes reflecting the fading light. For the first time in 16 months, she felt a spark of hope. Perhaps she could trust again. Perhaps a new partnership, built on understanding and respect, could begin. The desert winds howled outside, but inside the cave, a fragile connection was forming between human and dragon. The beginning of an extraordinary bond, unlike anything Kalora 7 had ever seen. And so, under the light of glowing crystals and a crimson sunset, the dragon woman and Elias Varn began a cautious journey toward trust, understanding, and a partnership that might change both of their worlds forever. The morning sun rose over Kalora 7, painting the desert in shades of gold and crimson. The sands shimmered like tiny crystals, and the wind carried the faint scent of rare minerals hidden deep beneath the rocky cliffs. Captain Elias Varn woke in the dragon woman's hidden cave, still amazed that he was allowed to stay here. The massive guardian lay nearby, wings folded, eyes half closed but alert. Elias carefully adjusted his pack, making sure his equipment was ready. Today, he would explore further into the canyon with her. He knew that if he wanted to truly understand Kalora 7 and its secrets, he needed to see it from her perspective. "You must move carefully," she said, her voice deep and musical. "The desert is not forgiving. Every step can be dangerous." "I will follow your lead," Elias replied. He had learned that patience was as important as courage when dealing with her. One wrong move could break the fragile trust forming between them. They moved through the jagged canyon, the dragon woman gliding gracefully over rocky ledges while Elias climbed carefully behind her. He marveled at her strength, her agility, and the way she seemed perfectly in tune with the harsh environment. It was clear why she had survived alone for 16 months. She was more than a guardian, she was a force of nature. As they walked, Elias asked about her partner, the one she had lost 16 months ago. "He was different from the others," she said quietly. "He understood me. He respected the planet, the crystals, and me. He was human, but he saw more than flesh and bone. He saw the spirit." Elias nodded. It must have been hard to lose him. Her eyes glimmered with a mixture of sadness and pride. "It was the hardest thing I have ever faced. But I survived. I had to. The crystals, the balance of this land, they could not be left unprotected." For the first time, Elias realized that her solitude was not only a result of fear, it was duty. She had devoted herself to the planet, to something greater than herself. It reminded him of humans who had sacrificed everything for exploration, for knowledge, and for the greater good. That was the connection, the HFY spirit, that made Elias feel he could relate to her, even across the immense differences between their species. Hours passed as they moved deeper into the canyon. Elias observed the way she hunted, catching small desert creatures with precision and ease. He learned that survival on Kalora 7 required both strength and strategy. She shared tips with him, how to sense vibrations in the sand, how to detect hidden crevices, and how to read the winds. Elias applied what he learned carefully, feeling his skills improve. In return, Elias taught her something new. He showed her simple human tools, a scanner that detected crystal energy, a small communicator that could signal the colony, and a device that mapped underground tunnels. At first, she watched skeptically. Her world had not relied on human inventions. But soon she realized that these tools could help her protect the planet more effectively. Their cooperation grew naturally. Elias admired her strength, and she began to respect his intelligence. Slowly, trust formed. It was delicate, like the crystals scattered around them, but it was real. One afternoon, while they were examining a cluster of rare blue crystals in a hidden cavern, a loud rumble shook the canyon. Elias' scanner flashed red. Something large was approaching fast. He looked at her. "Machines," she said calmly, her eyes narrowing. "Rival miners, they want the crystals, they do not care for this land, we must stop them." Elia's heart raced. He had expected dangers but not a full-scale attack from humans. "How do we fight them?" he asked. "We use the terrain. I can guide you," she replied. Her voice was steady, confident, but there was a glimmer of worry. She had fought humans before and knew their machines could be relentless. They moved quickly, setting traps and using the natural environment to their advantage. Elias used his tools to detect the machine's approach, while she flew above, scouting for weak points. When the machines arrived, A swarm of metallic drones with spinning blades, they were ready. The battle was intense. Elias and the dragon woman worked as a team. She swooped down with her massive wings, creating gusts of wind that toppled drones. Her claws struck with precision, dismantling machines piece by piece. Elias used his tools to redirect energy, overload circuits, and protect the miners who had been caught in the path. During the fight, one drone pushed Elias toward a cliff edge. The ground crumbled beneath him. He fell, but the dragon woman was there instantly. She caught him midair, her massive claws gripping him firmly. Elias gasped, amazed at her speed and strength. "Are you all right?" she asked, her voice laced with concern. Yes," Elias said, still catching his breath. "Thank you, I couldn't have done this without you." Her eyes softened slightly. "You are brave, human. You do not run when faced with danger. That is rare." After hours of fighting, the machines were defeated. The rival miners retreated, leaving the canyon quiet once more. Elias and the dragon woman stood together, surveying the damage. The crystals were safe, and the colony would not be threatened, at least for now. As the sun set, painting the canyon in shades of orange and purple, Elias and the dragon woman returned to her cave. The fight had brought them closer. Trust had grown into respect, and respect had begun to blossom into something deeper, an unspoken bond between human and dragon. That night, Elias and the dragon woman sat near the glowing crystals in the cave. Elias shared stories of Earth, of human cities, music, and art. She listened intently, fascinated by the creativity and determination of a species so small compared to her, yet capable of such resilience. "You humans are strange," she said finally, a hint of amusement in her voice. "You are fragile, yet you endure. You are small, yet you dream." Elias smiled. "That is what makes us strong, and that is why I respect you. You endure too, and you protect what is important." She nodded, her eyes reflecting the light of the crystals. "Perhaps we are not so different." Days turned into a week, and their partnership strengthened. Elias helped the dragon woman explore new crystal caves, and she taught him to navigate the desert with her knowledge. Together, they discovered hidden tunnels filled with rare blue and red crystals, untouched by humans. Each discovery was a victory, a testament to what they could accomplish together. But Elias knew the peace would not last. The rival mining corporations were relentless, driven by greed. He could sense that larger threats were approaching, forces that would test not only their strength but their bond. Yet he felt a sense of hope. With the dragon woman by his side, he believed that humans and guardians could protect Kalora 7, and perhaps more importantly, learn from each other. One evening, as they rested on a cliff overlooking the canyon, the dragon woman spoke quietly. 16 months, I have been alone for 16 months. I did not think I would trust again, but you are different. I feel something I have not felt in a long time." Elias looked at her, understanding the depth of her words. "You do not have to face everything alone anymore," he said softly. "We can face it together." Her gaze softened, and for a brief moment she leaned closer, a gesture of trust and acknowledgement. The wind swept across the canyon, carrying the promise of challenges ahead, but also the promise of a partnership that could endure them all. The night deepened, stars sparkling above Kalora 7 like scattered gems. In the quiet, Elias and the dragon woman remained vigilant yet calm, bound by trust and the shared mission to protect the planet. They knew the coming days would bring trials, but they also knew that together, human and dragon, they were stronger than any threat. And so, under the twin moons of Kalora 7, the dragon woman and Elias Varn prepared for the next stage of their journey. The bond between them had begun, forged through respect, courage, and understanding. They were partners now, in a world that demanded survival, strength, and unity. The first true signs of friendship and trust had been established. And as the desert wind whispered through the canyon, the two of them knew one thing clearly. They would face whatever came next, side by side, unyielding and united. The morning sun rose over Kalora 7, casting long shadows across the jagged canyon walls. The desert had never been truly quiet, but today there was a sense of tension in the air. Captain Elias Varn and the Dragon Woman stood together at the edge of a cliff, overlooking the hidden crystal caves below. They knew danger was coming. The rival mining corporation had sent its full force, a fleet of machines, bigger and stronger than anything Elias had seen before. Their goal was simple: take the crystals, no matter the cost. Elias studied the machines through his scanner. They were numerous, armed, and programmed to destroy any obstacle in their path. But Elias had learned a lot from the Dragon Woman. Together, they had a chance. "We cannot let them reach the caves," the Dragon Woman said, her deep voice steady but tense. "If they take the crystals, the balance of this planet will be lost. Everything we protect will be gone." Elias nodded. "We fight together. I'll cover you from the ground and you control the skies. We can do this." The Dragon Woman's wings stretched wide, shimmering in the sunlight. Elias watched her for a moment in awe of her strength. She was immense, far more powerful than any human or machine, but she needed strategy. And that was where Elias came in. Together, they made a plan. The machines moved like a dark wave through the canyon. Elias and the Dragon Woman had set traps along narrow passages, hidden pits, and sharp crystal formations designed to slow them down. As the first wave of machines approached, the Dragon Woman swooped down, creating a windstorm with her wings. The gust threw drones off balance, sending them crashing into rocks. Elias activated his devices, redirecting energy pulses to overload the machine's circuits. Sparks flew as drones toppled one after another. Some machines attempted to climb the cliffs, but the Dragon Woman's roar echoed across the canyon, and her claws struck with precision, smashing metal and gears alike. Despite their efforts, more machines kept coming. Elias realized that brute strength alone would not be enough. He signaled to the Dragon Woman, "Follow me to the caves. We can use the tunnels and lead them into the traps I set." With incredible speed, she glided beside him, and they entered the winding crystal tunnels. The air inside shimmered with blue and red light, reflecting off the walls. The machines followed, but the tunnels were narrow and twisting, perfect for an ambush. Elias led them through hidden passageways, activating devices that created energy barriers and controlled blasts of light to confuse the machines. The Dragon Woman flew overhead, striking any machine that tried to escape the traps. Together, they moved as one. Hours passed in a blur of action. Elias' muscles ached, his mind raced, but he never let fear take over. The Dragon Woman fought with incredible strength and intelligence, using both her body and her mind to anticipate the machine's moves. Every time one attacked, they countered. Every time one fell, they grew more confident. Then, in the deepest part of the crystal caves, a massive war machine appeared. It was taller than any building Elias had seen, bristling with weapons. Its glowing eyes scanned the tunnels, seeking the Dragon Woman and him. Elias froze for a moment, realizing the danger. "You stay behind me," the Dragon Woman said, her voice calm but firm. "This will require everything we have." The war machine charged, shaking the tunnels with each step. Elias activated all his devices, creating energy pulses that ricocheted off the crystal walls. The Dragon Woman lunged, striking the machine's legs with powerful claws and wings. Sparks flew, metal bent, and the ground trembled beneath them. Elias saw an opening. "Aim for the energy core," he shouted. The Dragon Woman understood immediately. She leaped onto the machine's back, digging her claws into the armor. Her wings created a massive gust, throwing the machine off balance. Elias targeted the core with precise pulses, overloading the machine's systems. There was a loud explosion, shaking the cave, and then silence. The massive war machine had fallen. Elias and the Dragon Woman looked around, breathing heavily. The remaining machines, seeing their leader destroyed, retreated. The canyon was quiet again. The crystals were safe. The colony would survive. The dragon woman landed next to Elias. She looked at him, her eyes reflecting pride and relief. "You fought well," she said. "Not just with strength, but with courage and intelligence. I have not seen a human like you before." Elias smiled, though he was exhausted. "We did it together. I could not have done it without you." For the first time, the dragon woman allowed herself to relax completely. 16 months of solitude, of careful vigilance, of watching over the planet alone, had led to this moment. She had found a partner who understood courage, respect, and the value of life. Elias had earned her trust, and in doing so, had opened the door to something new. Over the next few days, Elias and the dragon woman worked to repair the damage caused by the attack. They restored the tunnels, reinforced the crystal formations, and ensured that the colony could continue to operate safely. Miners whispered in awe about the human and the dragon woman, realizing that this partnership was extraordinary. During their work, Elias learned more about her past. She spoke of her original partner, of the adventures they shared, and the mission they had to protect Kalora 7. Elias listened, understanding the depth of her loyalty and devotion. She had survived incredible loss, yet she had never given up. That resilience reminded him of the best qualities of humanity: hope, determination, and the will to protect what is important. As night fell, the sky above Kalora 7 sparkled with stars. Elias and the dragon woman stood together at the cliff's edge, looking out over the desert. The twin moons reflected off the crystal caves below, creating a magical light. "I've been alone for 16 months, she said quietly. "I did not think I would trust again, but now with you I feel something different, something I have not felt in a long time." Elias placed a hand over his heart. "I feel it too: trust, respect, and partnership. We can face anything together." The dragon woman nodded, a rare smile appearing on her face. "Perhaps we are not so different, human and dragon. We both protect, we both endure, we both care. Together we are stronger." From that moment the bond between them was unbreakable. They had faced danger, fought side by side, and discovered a mutual respect that would guide them in the future. Elias realized that HFY, humanity's best qualities, were not just in strength, but in courage, compassion, and the ability to form connections even with the most unlikely of beings. The colony began to thrive once more. Under the guidance of Elias and the dragon woman, miners worked safely, and the crystal caves were protected. News spread to other colonies about the partnership, inspiring hope and admiration. Humans and guardians working together, proving that unity and understanding could overcome greed and destruction. One morning, as they watched the sun rise over the canyon, Elias turned to the dragon woman. "What will we do next?" he asked. She spread her wings, letting the warm morning wind lift her slightly. "We continue to protect Kalora 7, we explore the hidden places, and perhaps we discover more about each other and this world." Elias smiled. "I like that plan." Together, human and dragon woman looked out over the desert. The past 16 months of solitude, struggle, and loss were behind her. The future was full of possibility. And Elias, who had come to Kalora 7 seeking crystals, had found something even more valuable: a true partner. The wind whispered through the canyon, carrying the promise of future adventures. They would face challenges, explore new lands, and protect the planet together. Side by side, human and dragon, they were unstoppable. The bond they had forged through courage, trust, and understanding would endure all threats. Kalora 7 had found its guardians once more, and humanity, through Elias, had shown that even in the most alien of worlds, humans could inspire hope, resilience, and partnership. Under the stars and glowing crystals, the dragon woman and Elias Varn stood together, ready for whatever the universe would send their way. Their journey was far from over, but one thing was certain: they would face it as one. The desert wind blew softly and the glow of the crystals illuminated their path. 16 months of solitude had ended. A new era had begun. And for the first time in a long while, the dragon woman felt truly at peace, because she was not alone.